Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Andrew Tate. Welcome to another tape in my Subliminal series. The reason you're broke isn't bad luck. It's not the economy. It's not your boss. It's you. Your weak, pathetic mindset is the only thing holding you back. You wake up every day the same, scrolling your phone, wasting hours on nonsense, and wondering why your life doesn't change. You're comfortable in your misery because you'd rather complain than take action. You think success is for other people, the ones born rich, the ones who got lucky. But here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is handing you wealth. If you're not making money, it's because you refuse to do what's necessary to make money. You see opportunities and make excuses instead of moves. You think discipline is too hard. You think working 16-hour days is too much. But guess what? The winners don't care. They grind, they sacrifice, they dominate. Fix your mindset. Stop being lazy. Stop playing victim. Learn skills that pay. Get aggressive about your goals. The world rewards the ruthless, the relentless, the ones who refuse to stay broke. Your mindset is your biggest obstacle. Every single thing that happens in your life is a direct result of the way you think. If you're broke, struggling, and going nowhere, it's not because of bad luck or some external force keeping you down. It's because you've programmed yourself to accept mediocrity. You don't believe you deserve wealth, so you never fight for it. You don't believe you can succeed, so you never push yourself beyond your comfort zone. Your thoughts control your actions, and your actions dictate your results. A weak mindset leads to weak effort, which guarantees weak results. Most people never question their own thinking. They go through life reacting to everything around them, never realizing that their perspective is what's holding them back. If you see problems instead of opportunities, you've already lost. If you believe that money is hard to make, it will always be hard to make. If you think success is reserved for the lucky or the privileged, then you'll never do what it takes to earn it yourself. The mind is the most powerful weapon you have, but most people let it work against them instead of for them. You've been conditioned to think small. Since childhood, you've been taught to follow the rules, play it safe, and avoid risks. You've been programmed to believe that a steady job and a paycheck are the only way to survive. You've been brainwashed into thinking that wealth is for other people, the ones who got lucky, the ones who had connections, the ones who were born into it. That's a lie. The truth is, anyone who is rich made themselves rich. They built their wealth by refusing to accept the limitations that most people live by. They made different choices. They developed different habits. And most importantly, they adopted a mindset that refuses to lose. If you think like a loser, you will live like a loser. If you see obstacles as reasons to quit, you will always fail. If you constantly doubt yourself and hesitate to take action, you will never move forward. The difference between the rich and the poor is not intelligence. It's not luck. It's mindset. The rich see money as a tool, not a problem. They see challenges as opportunities, not as excuses. They see risk as necessary, not as something to avoid. The broke mindset says, what if I fail? The rich mindset says, what if I win? That single shift in thinking makes all the difference. People who stay broke have a common pattern. They complain about things they have the power to change. They waste time scrolling on their phones, playing video games, and watching mindless entertainment while the world passes them by. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. They envy successful people but refuse to learn from them. They look at money as something evil instead of something necessary. They get comfortable in their struggle and convince themselves that working hard won't change anything. They accept their situation instead of fighting to change it. You will never get rich if you think like the average person. The average person is stuck in a cycle of mediocrity, waiting for a lucky break that will never come. They have no urgency, no hunger, no drive. They talk about their dreams, but never take action. They listen to people who have never made money and take their advice seriously. They let fear control them. They hesitate, overthink, and make excuses while others take risks, make moves, and dominate. The world does not reward hesitation. It rewards aggression. Your thoughts are the foundation of your life. If you don't fix your mindset, nothing else matters. You could have the best business idea, the best skills, and all the potential in the world. But if your mind is weak, you will never follow through. The moment things get hard, you'll quit. The second you face failure, you'll run. And that's exactly why you're broke. You never made the decision to win, no matter what. The ones who make it aren't smarter than you. They aren't better than you. They just refuse to accept failure as an option. They think differently, and that's why they live differently. If you want to change your life, you have to start by changing your mind. You need to reprogram yourself to think like a winner. Every thought of doubt, every excuse, every hesitation has to be eliminated. You need to become the kind of person who sees opportunities instead of problems, who takes action instead of making excuses, who embraces challenges instead of running from them. The second you change your mindset, everything else starts to shift. Comfort is killing you. The very thing you think is keeping you safe is actually holding you back from everything you say you want. You wake up in the same bed, go through the same routine, do the same meaningless tasks, and then wonder why nothing in your life changes. You crave security, stability, and ease, but those things don't create success. They create stagnation. They keep you trapped in a cycle where every day feels the same, where nothing ever improves, where you never grow into the person you're supposed to be. The reality is that comfort is a slow poison, and most people are drinking it every single day without even realizing it. You've been taught to avoid discomfort at all costs. Society has brainwashed you into thinking that life should be easy, that struggle is bad, that any form of hardship is something to be avoided. You're told to find a job that's comfortable, to settle down into a lifestyle that doesn't push you too hard, to stay within the boundaries that others have set for you. And then you wonder why you feel stuck. You wonder why you're not making progress. You wonder why you see other people winning while you stay in the exact same position year after year. The truth is, every successful person you admire got there by stepping outside of their comfort zone. They did things that were difficult, things that were painful, things that most people would never have the discipline or courage to do. They forced themselves to wake up early, to work when they didn't feel like it, to take risks when everything inside them wanted to play it safe. They understood that success is built on discomfort, that every moment of struggle is a step towards something greater. The weak mindset looks at pain and runs from it. The strong mindset looks at pain and embraces it, knowing that it's the price of transformation. You might think you want success, but what you actually want is comfort. You want the rewards without the struggle. You want the money, but you don't want to put in the work. You want the body, but you don't want to train. You want the freedom, but you don't want to make sacrifices. And that's exactly why you don't have what you claim to want. Because the moment things get difficult, you quit. The moment you feel a little discomfort, you run back to your old habits. You choose short-term pleasure over long-term gain, and you do it over and over again until you wake up one day and realize you've wasted years of your life achieving nothing. Look around at the people who are struggling the most. What do they all have in common? They avoid pain. They avoid discipline. They avoid hard choices. They do what feels good in the moment instead of what will benefit them in the future. They waste time on entertainment instead of building something for themselves. They choose laziness because working hard is uncomfortable. They choose bad food because eating clean is uncomfortable. They choose distractions because facing their problems is uncomfortable. And then they complain about being broke, about being out of shape, about being miserable, without ever realizing that they did it to themselves. Every time you make the easy choice, you reinforce weakness. Every time you sleep in, instead of grinding, you choose failure. Every time you scroll on your phone, instead of learning a new skill, you choose mediocrity. Every time you waste money on things you don't need, instead of investing it into your future, you choose poverty. Life is a series of choices, and the sum of those choices determines where you end up. If you keep choosing comfort, you will stay exactly where you are, watching other people live the life you wish you had. The difference between winners and losers is simple. Winners do what's necessary, no matter how hard it is. Losers look for an easier way, and when they don't find one, they give up. Winners train their minds to handle stress, pain, and difficulty. They develop the ability to push forward even when they don't feel like it. They understand that discomfort is temporary, but the rewards of overcoming it last forever. If you want to be successful, you need to rewire your brain to crave difficulty. You need to seek out challenges, embrace struggle, and get addicted to the process of becoming stronger. The most dangerous place you can be in life is comfortable, because when you're comfortable, you're not growing. When you're comfortable, you're not improving. When you're comfortable, you're dying slowly without even realizing it. The world belongs to the people who are willing to suffer for what they want. The question is, Are you one of them? Opportunities are everywhere, but most people are too blind to see them. They walk through life complaining about how hard everything is, how unfair the system is, how they never get a break, while ignoring the fact that opportunities are in front of them every single day. The reason they don't see them is simple. They're not looking. They've already convinced themselves that success is impossible, that money is hard to make, that only certain people can achieve real wealth. Their mindset filters reality, and instead of seeing doors opening around them, they see walls. The average person waits for opportunities to be handed to them. They expect some perfect moment, some guaranteed path, some easy route that removes all risk. That moment never comes, so they sit around doing nothing, waiting for success to magically land in their lap. Meanwhile, the people who win in life are the ones who recognize that opportunity doesn't knock, it's built. They create their own paths. They take control instead of waiting for permission. They see a gap in the market and fill it. They take skills they already have and monetize them. They connect with people who can help them level up instead of wasting time around losers. You have access to more resources, information, and connections than any generation in history. The internet has given you everything you need to start a business, learn new skills, and make money. Yet most people use it for entertainment, distractions, and mindless scrolling. Instead of reading books on wealth building, they watch nonsense videos. Instead of networking with people who can help them grow, they waste time arguing with strangers. Instead of taking an online course that could teach them a high-income skill, they binge watch shows that add nothing to their life. Then they have the audacity to complain about being broke. Every single day, people prove that opportunities exist. Someone is starting a business and making millions. Someone is flipping products online and generating passive income. Someone is using their skills to create value and get paid. The difference between them and the ones who stay broke is simple. They take action. They see an opportunity, and instead of overthinking it, instead of making excuses, instead of talking themselves out of it, they jump in and figure it out as they go. They understand that waiting for the perfect time is just another form of procrastination. Fear is the number one reason people ignore opportunities. They're scared of failure, scared of looking stupid, scared of losing money, scared of what people will think. That fear keeps them stuck, watching others win while they stay in the same place. The truth is, you will fail. You will make mistakes. You will lose money, but that's part of the process. Every successful person has failed more times than the average person has even tried. The difference is that they didn't let failure stop them. They adjusted, they learned, and they kept moving forward. That's how wealth is built. Not through luck, not through waiting, but through relentless action. Excuses are another reason people ignore opportunities. They convince themselves that they don't have enough time, money, or knowledge. But time is never the problem. It's how you use it. Everyone has the same 24 hours, yet some people build empires while others waste it on pointless activities. Money is never the problem either. There are people who started with nothing and still made it. And knowledge? That excuse is laughable in a world where free information is everywhere. The real problem is mindset. People use excuses to justify their inaction because it's easier than admitting they're too lazy or scared to take the first step. You don't need the perfect idea. You don't need all the answers. You don't need to wait until you will feel ready. What you need is to start. Take the first step, no matter how small. Learn as you go. Adjust when necessary. Fail fast and keep moving. That's how you seize opportunities. That's how you create success instead of waiting for it. The ones who make it in life are the ones who take action before they're ready, who step into uncertainty instead of waiting for guarantees, who see every challenge as a chance to grow instead of a reason to quit. Discipline over feelings. This is the single greatest difference between those who succeed and those who fail. The weak make decisions based on how they feel, while the strong do what needs to be done regardless of emotions. Feelings are inconsistent. They come and go. One day you feel motivated, the next day you don't. If you allow your emotions to dictate your actions, you will never accomplish anything significant in life. The people who win are not the ones who always feel like working. They are the ones who show up and execute even when they don't want to. You wake up tired, and instead of pushing through, you stay in bed. You don't feel like working out, so you skip the gym. You feel like taking a break, so you waste an entire day. That's why you're stuck. That's why nothing changes. You let temporary emotions control your life instead of taking control yourself. The reality is, your feelings are irrelevant. The only thing that matters is whether you did the work or not. The world doesn't care if you were tired, if you weren't in the mood, or if you had a bad day. Results are the only thing that counts. Discipline is what separates the elite from the average. The weak rely on motivation, and motivation is a joke. It's unreliable. It's there one moment and gone the next. The people who dominate in life understand that discipline is the foundation of all success. They wake up at the same time every day, not because they feel like it, but because it's part of the routine. They train their bodies and minds daily, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. They work long hours, sacrifice distractions, and stay committed no matter how they feel. Your brain is wired to seek comfort. It wants to avoid pain, avoid effort, and take the easiest route possible. If you listen to that voice in your head telling you to relax, to take it easy, to do it later, you will never get anywhere. Winners ignore that voice. They override it. They have trained themselves to act in spite of resistance. They have conditioned themselves to do what's hard, to seek out discomfort, to push through when others would quit. That's what makes them different. That's what makes them successful. Most people are weak because they've spent their whole lives giving into their emotions. If they feel lazy, they act lazy. If they feel afraid, they run. If they feel uncertain, they hesitate. This pattern repeats itself over and over again until it becomes their identity. They become a person who never follows through, who never commits, who never builds momentum. That's why so many people are average. They never master themselves. They never learn to control their own mind. They are slaves to their emotions, constantly being pulled in different directions with no discipline to keep them on course. The people who accomplish great things in life are not superhuman. They feel the same emotions as everyone else. They feel tired, they feel frustrated, but they don't let those emotions dictate their actions. They get up and do what needs to be done anyway. They train themselves to ignore distractions, to shut out negativity, to execute the plan no matter what. That is real power. That is what it takes to win. The moment you stop waiting to feel ready and start acting with discipline, everything changes. The moment you stop relying on motivation and start doing the work, regardless of how you feel, you separate yourself from the majority. Most people will never master this. They will spend their entire lives making excuses, giving in to their weaknesses, and watching from the sidelines as others achieve everything they wish they had. Every decision you make either strengthens or weakens your discipline. Every time you push through discomfort, you build mental toughness. Every time you choose discipline over feelings, you take another step toward success. The ones who understand this truth are the ones who control their destiny. The ones who ignore it will remain stuck forever. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success. No one is going to give you money. No one is going to fix your problems for you. The faster you accept this, the faster you can take control of your life. Most people spend their days waiting. Waiting for help, waiting for the right time, waiting for a lucky break that will never come. They refuse to take full responsibility for their situation, so they stay stuck, blaming everything except themselves for why they are not where they want to be. The truth is, if you want something, you have to take it. If you want to be rich, you have to make yourself rich. If you want freedom, you have to build it yourself. People love to make excuses. They blame their family, their upbringing, their lack of resources. They blame the economy, the government, society. They tell themselves that the reason they are broke is because of external forces beyond their control. But there are people who came from worse situations and still became successful. There are people who started with nothing, no connections, no advantages, and still found a way to make it. The difference is they refused to play the victim. They understood that no one was coming to save them. So they took full responsibility for their lives and did what needed to be done. The reason most people never succeed is because they are addicted to excuses. They don't want to put in the work. They don't want to struggle. They want things to be easy. And when they're not, they look for someone to blame. They tell themselves that life is unfair, that they weren't given the same opportunities as others, that the system is rigged against them. This kind of thinking keeps them weak. It keeps them stuck, because the second you believe that you are powerless, you stop trying to change your situation. The second you convince yourself that external factors are in control, you give up your ability to take action. No one is going to feel sorry for you. No one cares about your struggles as much as you do. People are too busy worrying about their own problems to come and solve yours. And even if someone did help you, it would only be temporary. If you don't fix your mindset, if you don't develop the skills and discipline required to win, you will always end up back in the same place. That's why handouts and lucky breaks never change a person's life permanently. Because success isn't about what you receive, it's about what you build. If you don't learn how to create wealth, you'll lose it. If you don't develop discipline, you'll waste every opportunity you get. The hard truth is that you are exactly where you deserve to be. Your bank account, your body, your relationships, your success or lack of it is all a reflection of your choices and your mindset. If you are broke, it's because you haven't done what's necessary to change that. If you are out of shape, it's because you haven't put in the effort to fix it. If you are stuck in the same position year after year, it's because you are not taking the actions required to move forward. No one is holding you back except yourself. No one is stopping you from leveling up except your own weak mentality. The moment you fully accept responsibility for your life is the moment everything changes, because when you stop waiting for someone to save you and start taking action, you become unstoppable. Most people are too soft to handle this truth. They don't want to hear that their problems are their own fault. They would rather believe that life is unfair than admit that they are simply not doing enough. But that's why they stay average. That's why they never build wealth, never achieve freedom, never create anything meaningful. They are too busy looking for someone else to change their life instead of changing it themselves. No one is coming. No mentor is going to do the work for you. No friend or family member is going to hand you success. No government, no employer, no system is going to magically make you rich. If you want to win, you have to take full responsibility. You have to stop making excuses. You have to stop expecting help and start creating your own opportunities. The second you realize this and truly embrace it, you put yourself in control. The second you take action without waiting for permission, you separate yourself from the weak and start becoming the kind of person who gets results. Your circle is keeping you broke. The people you surround yourself with determine your mindset, your habits, and ultimately, your success. If you spend your time around losers, complainers, and people who accept mediocrity, you will adopt their way of thinking. You will pick up their bad habits, their excuses, their weak mentality. Success is not just about what you do, it's about who you are around. If your circle is full of people who think small, you will think small. If they waste time, you will waste time. If they settle for average, you will do the same. Most people don't realize how much influence their environment has on them. They assume they can be disciplined, driven, and focused while surrounding themselves with people who are lazy, negative, and unmotivated. But human nature doesn't work like that. You absorb the mindset of those around you. If your friends complain about how hard life is instead of finding solutions, you will start to complain too. If they make excuses for why they can't succeed, you will start making excuses too. If they spend their time on entertainment instead of self-improvement, you will do the same. Look at the people closest to you. Do they push you to be better, or do they hold you back? Do they challenge you to level up, or do they encourage you to stay comfortable? If you are the most ambitious person in your group, you are in the wrong group. Growth happens when you are surrounded by people who are ahead of you, people who inspire you, people who make you feel like you need to catch up. If you are always the smartest, hardest working, most disciplined person in the room, you are in the wrong room. The truth is, most of your friends don't want to see you succeed. They may not say it out loud, but deep down, they don't want you to rise above them. Because if you do, it forces them to look at their own failures. It reminds them that they could be doing more, that they have no real excuse for their laziness. So instead of supporting your growth, they subtly discourage it. They laugh when you say you want to make millions. They tell you to relax when you're working hard. They say things like money isn't everything, or you've changed, because they can't handle the fact that you're leveling up while they stay the same. You need to cut off dead weight. If someone is not helping you grow, they are holding you back. If they don't push you to be better, they are pulling you down. This is not about being cold or ruthless. It's about survival. If you want to be successful, you cannot afford to be surrounded by weakness. You cannot afford to waste time with people who have no ambition, no drive, no hunger for success. You need to be around winners. You need to find people who think big, who work hard, who demand excellence from themselves and those around them. Most people are too scared to do this. They stay in toxic friendships out of loyalty, even when those friendships are keeping them broke and stuck. They hold on to relationships that drain their energy, that reinforce bad habits, that keep them trapped in a cycle of mediocrity. They don't realize that every second spent with the wrong people is a second stolen from their future success. The hard truth is, you must be willing to walk alone for a while if you want to attract the right people. You must be willing to let go of those who no longer serve you, even if it means being isolated for a time. The moment you raise your standards, weak people will start to fall away. They won't be able to handle your ambition, your discipline, your refusal to settle. They will say you're too intense, too serious, too focused on money and success. Let them talk. Let them leave. Because the right people, the ones who are on the same mission as you, will replace them. You will attract those who think like you, who want the same things you do, who refuse to accept anything less than greatness. And when that happens, your entire life will change. In conclusion, your network is your net worth. The people around you either push you forward or hold you back. If you want to be rich, surround yourself with people who think like the rich. If you want to be successful, surround yourself with those who are already successful. Cut off distractions, eliminate negativity, and build a circle of winners. The faster you do this, the faster you will level up.